Hi guys, you're back in the man cave of an acting teacher today. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that more than a few people have asked me about over the last few weeks since we've been in the COVID-19 situation. And that's been to do with the way that I have mentioned the word Zen in a number of the videos that I have made, okay? Now, this is a tricky one for me because I don't consider myself a Zen master, all right? I haven't studied it enough. It's arguable perhaps that I am a Zen master, but I don't know what that is or what that means. I certainly don't feel in any way like I am a master of the concept of Zen. It's something that I find is a mystery, but something that is not a belief, something that is very tangible to me. But I don't sort of see it as a belief. I don't see it as something that I need to kind of, I suppose, grapple with, right? Or ask myself whether it exists or not, yeah? Okay, so let me be as specific as I can, even though this is probably going to be the most unstructured of all the videos that I've made, all right? So when you learn a technique of any art or anything at all, you learn a technical skill, all right? So there's a book, which is a very short, small book, very easy to read, right? And I think it's much better than going even to kind of Buddhist texts or listening to, you know, Alan Watts talk for ages, even though he's great to listen to. But this book is so easy to read. And it's the best way to get your head around this idea. And it's called Zen and the Art of Archery. It's by Eugene Herrigel, all right? And in a nutshell, it's about a big German who goes to Japan to study their ancient art of archery, all right? Where they fire these bows and arrows off the backs of horses while riding at full pace, okay? It's an incredible art form, right? Now, when he goes there, of course, because he's a great, big, strong German, he kind of feels, I mean, I'm really paraphrasing this book, Eugene. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this or if you're even alive, I don't even know. But essentially, he goes there and he tries to open up this bow and he can't open the bow, right? He can't do it, right? And what he realizes, or what he is taught, is that he's going to keep beating his head against that wall until he gives up on the need to succeed, okay? And once he does, the thing just opens. And it opens by itself because he relinquishes the idea that he is the only thing that can make it open. And he relinquishes the idea that his will must be imposed upon everything all the time, yeah? And that's the only way to make things happen and to make things succeed, yeah? Now, our will, as I've talked about already, can be positive or negative, all right? So, my negative will is I'm preparing for failure. My positive will, for want of a better word, is I'm going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread and I'm going to be rich and famous and everything else, okay? The problem is that when I'm training an actor, if their eye is on either failure or, I suppose, you know, the monetary success or the fame and fortune success, which is irrelevant to me, right? If they're focused on that, then they're not actually focusing on the now. They're not in the moment of learning the technique. So Zen at its core, if I can try to explain it and explain it badly, Zen is your ability to relinquish your desire for success, okay? It will allow you to take away your need for that, right? And instead of, let's use the archery analogy, instead of aiming to hit a target with the arrow, because if we say archery, what's archery about? It's hitting a target, surely, with an arrow. No, it's not, okay? It's the technique itself. It's opening the bow and firing the shot as smoothly and as perfectly as one can, and ignoring the idea, or not even ignoring that, even that's the wrong term, but just let the target go. Let the idea that there's a goal go completely. So forget about the goal. Just enjoy calmly, through breathing, getting yourself and the bow to become one thing, okay? So what we want with any art form, including acting, is for the art of it to become not just yours, but to become you. And for you to become the art, okay? So that those things become one thing. And then as I've talked about in previous videos, you won't have this kind of need to say to yourself every morning when you wake up, oh my God, am I an actor? You know, I'm not going to get a job today. My agent isn't going to call me today. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do that. Or conversely, I'm the greatest thing ever, you know, and I'm going to tread on everybody in my path and exploit people to get where I want to go, and try and reach my goal that way, right? With Zen, one leaves all of that. It goes away, okay? And one focuses purely on learning the technique and allowing the technique to work on you and in you until the two of you become one thing, yeah? I don't want to mention any names here, but I was talking to a very well-known professional actor not too long ago, right? And I said to him, what's your technique? And he said, oh, I don't have a technique. And I said, all right. Okay, so what do you do, you know, when you act? What's your approach to it then? And he then went on to describe his technique. But he's got to the point, right, where the technique and him have become one thing, to the extent that he didn't even realize that he had a technique anymore. And then he went on in the same conversation to literally describe the components of his technique, his approach to acting, yeah? Now, you can't get to that place, okay, if you don't allow yourself the time to focus not on your need for success, to focus not on the goal of wherever you think you're going to end up, right? But allowing yourself purely to be in the moment of the learning, yeah? And that's what the applied art of acting is all about, okay? It's that idea of being in the moment so that you can go into that place for 3 months, full-time, half 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and let it consume your life. So that you're not thinking about what's going to happen after that 3 months is over. You're not thinking about where you were before that 3 months started. It is a bubble, all right, where you exist purely in that place for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to study that technique, yeah? The goal will come, yeah? If, using the archery analogy again, if one is in that place where the bow has become literally like your limbs, right, an extension of your body, or your body itself, right, then you will hit the target. You don't have to worry about it, okay? It's not something that even comes into your mind. You just fire the shot and the target will be hit, yeah? And it will hit itself, right? So the aim or the goal in Zen, in terms of archery, right, is that the goal isn't the target, the goal is the archer, okay? So in acting, the goal isn't success, the goal is the actor, okay? The goal is the solving of the actor, and it's so important in acting because we're playing characters. In fact, it's more important in acting than I think in any other art form, because we, more than anybody, need to teach ourselves or to learn how to get ourselves out of the way so that there can be room for somebody else, called the character. So if we haven't solved ourselves, if we haven't taken the time to do this work, to say to ourselves, okay, look, I'm going to approach this work without ego, without a desire for success, without a fear of failure. I'm going to put all of my stuff, all of the thoughts, concerns, worries about the past, the future, and everything else, I'm going to take all of that, wrap it up, and let it go, okay? It's not going to help me. It's not going to help me succeed anyway, so what's the point? And then to allow myself to be in this open place. And in that open place, I think that's a good way of putting it actually, because it feels very open, it feels very free, there's room for someone else to come in. And that someone else, of course, is the character. Because you're out of the way, you've gotten out of the way. So sometimes I say to my actors, imagine, you know, if you're worrying about succeeding, if you're worrying about being better than the actor opposite you, right? If you're worrying about, I don't know, sleeping your way to the top, you know, or whatever the thing is that's going on in your head, right? That stuff consumes you to such an extent that there's no room in you for a character to arrive, okay? So you have to let all that stuff go. And when you let all that stuff go, there's this openness. There's this sense of, again, it sounds hard to get your head around, but there's a sense that you become essentially nothing, okay? Because again, in all of this stuff that we do, I mean, social media, this whole thing that I'm putting this on now, this Facebook, You know, we create our identity, we create our profile, we define ourselves, and this is who I am and this is my profile. And the rest of the world sees that and they build their opinion based on what you put on there. You know, so if you put videos on there of you, you know, talking to students like I am, then they'll get one idea. If I put, you know, if you put videos on there in your bikini all the time, then they'll get another idea, or whatever it is that you decide to create. We're a very profile or self-identity obsessed culture at the moment, and social media has built that way up. I'm not giving out about social media. It's one of the greatest tools that's ever been invented, you know, I think. But at the same time, it has done a certain thing to us, right? And I find it especially with young people on Instagram, yeah? Rather, not so much Facebook, but Instagram, where they're competing with each other. They look at what's she wearing, what's he doing, where, you know, who's he going out with, what's that going on with that person? And you're kind of in this competition. And that sense of competitiveness and competition has been with us since we were small, you know? We get into school and our parents want us to be top of the class. Our parents want us to be, you know, the best, you know, the captain of the, you know, the rugby team, captain of the debating team, captain of school captain, you know, wants us to, we are told that we should be striving to be in the top percentile, you know, better than the people around us, yeah. After that, you know, in this capitalist way we live, you know, the people who earn the most money are better than the people who earn less money. Are they? Yeah. We're told they are, right? So we're encouraged to earn more money. We're encouraged to have the bigger house, you know. The neighbor next door got a brand new car. I can't afford a brand new car, you know, whatever. It's this kind of constant feeling of keeping up with the Joneses, and this constant competition builds up this concept of our identity being connected with our success, okay? Now, when you're learning an art, right, the art only exists when all of that goes away. And this is very much attached and connected to lots of different Asian traditions, okay? The Asians were way ahead of us, right? And, you know, me as this kind of Westerner sitting on here telling you all about it feels grossly disingenuous because they understand it a hell of a lot better than I do. I've only got my own personal grip on it and my own way that I use it. I suppose to try and free up the self of my actors so that they can be open to experience the character and to experience the beauty of acting with abandon, with freedom, without the shackles of fear and the shackles of ego, I suppose, you know. So look, Zen and the Art of Archery by Eugene Herrigel, and look, I always credit those people who deserve credit. That book was recommended to me by a man called Richard Hayes Marshall, and Richard Hayes Marshall was in the Australian ballet. He was Jacques Lecoq's assistant during the 70s for a time, and I would consider him my master, you know. I hardly ever talk to him anymore. In fact, I haven't talked to him for years. Don't need to. It's like he's always there, you know. I think we all have these kind of great influences that took us in certain directions. You know, and it was Richard who first said to me, look, read this book, man, you know, and he's a great teacher, and I don't teach what he taught, but what I then got interested in was the idea of creating systems that work for other people. And then when you put your attention on others rather than on yourself, again, there's this feeling of freedom, and that also is attached to Zen, yeah? So Zen and the Art of Archery, very easy read. You know, a bigger book, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, is a cracker as well, life changer, you know, and there's many others, and you can just look this stuff up, right? But again, I'm not an expert in it. I'm just trying to give you a bit of a perspective based on the questions that were asked about what influence it has on my work. I know that's not the best video I've made in this series. It's a little bit all over the place, but I hope it's enlightening. I'll make another one tomorrow. Got a couple of students now, so I'll see you if you want to have a class with me on anything at all, okay? You know where to find me. All right, thanks guys, bye.